The books that I read as a child were very different from my life, for one thing. So I read a lot of British books. I read everything that Enid Blyton ever wrote. I was convinced for a while that she wrote for me. I think my parents were a little worried by this. They thought I was going to be reading series titles and nothing else my entire life. So I read those, and then I read all the classics. I read Beatrix Potter, I read Winnie the Pooh, Treasure Island, books like that. I never saw myself in any of the books I read, and while that wasn't necessarily a problem for me at the time, it did make a difference in how I saw the world later on. I never thought I could be a writer because books to me were in the world of England and America. They were not of my world. We had Tagore, but he had won the Nobel Prize, and how could I even aspire to that? So I was writing as a child, but I didn't know I was a writer because there was that line between the world of literature and my world. When I was about 13, I read a novel by Rumer Godden, and it was called The River. And I think that was the very first time, I might have been 14, it was the very first time I saw an India depicted that was not shown in a patronizing way, where all the Indian characters were not negatively depicted, where the English character didn't have all the answers. And in a very strange way, it gave me permission to write. And shortly after that, I began writing, poems and stories. Well, I was 14. I wrote poetry. What else does a 14-year-old do? And some of it got published. Oddly enough, I still didn't really think of writing as a career because nobody I knew was a writer. And but definitely, Rumer Godden's book gave me permission to write.